This is Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM, and I'm on location at the Westminster Community Theater for the opening of I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. Described as Seinfeld set to music, I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change is a playful musical about love in suburbia. The talented cast plays over 40 roles as it explores the ups and downs of different types of relationships, from single life to dating to marriage to the bitter end. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change covers the whole cycle with humor, emotion, and insight. I'm Ashton Marcus, and this is
Mason Banks.
And you play?
I play a range of characters. One that I love, his name is Kevin Trentell. He's an inmate at San Quentin State Prison, and he has some interesting methods on how to encourage matchmaking. He really only has like a small section in the show, but he's really enjoyable for me. I don't feel like I get to play characters like him very often, and so when I do, it's really fun for me to. And when we have such great actors to hold their own, so that we can really play with those awkward moments, or even amp them up in order to make the show that much more lively and in the moment, I really enjoy it.
Is he a villain or an anti-hero?
I think you could play it both ways. I would say that he's a bit of a hero. He believes he's a hero. He believes he's helping people and doing kind things, and that he's warning them not to make mistakes like he did. And he doesn't want them to I think waste their time when they could be happy if they just relaxed their standards, were less serious about it all. Yeah.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I actually only started doing theater about 5 years ago. Senior year of high school, I decided to audition for a show, and I really loved it. I really love the atmosphere here. I love the community. There's just so many little things that just like instinctually theater people do together, and they try to make sure that it works no matter what, no matter if they're having issues with other people in the cast, which is, and some other professions just in school in general, you don't see that often, and I really liked that. And I originally got into it because I was trying to learn how to create characters before trying for voice acting. And I've been doing musicals, and I've done mostly musicals. I've done a couple of Shakespeare shows, also with Jeff directing, and one murder mystery here, which have been really fun.
So you play multiple characters here?
Yes, in the show. Yes, we played multiple characters. There's Kevin, he's one, he's an inmate. There's another one, I play a father of a newborn baby. I play a husband who's fed up with having to deal with his wife. They're little snippets. Not all of them have names like Kevin. One is just, his name is Guy, but they're all different aspects of relationships, and I don't know. It's really fascinating for me, at least, to explore these different facets of relationships and people, like relationships that are considered successful or not considered successful. And even though it's musical comedy and we're playing that to comedic effect, it's very fun to observe this and watch my fellow actors do their great thing.
How do you come up with the emotion for, say, people who are opposing? One's happy, one's sad, one's suicidal, the other. I mean, how do you come up with that emotion all in the same play?
Well, usually it's a lot of playing around on your own. You try to first of all, you research kind of. Well, it's hard to answer because there's a lot of different aspects to acting, like a lot of different techniques, if you will. But how I do it, usually there's a kind of a stereotype that I already have of the character, and then you read the script more, you see what they're doing that's actually affecting the other characters, and you try to almost connect it to your life. Maybe that's more for a drama standpoint, but in musical comedy, you can, like this one, we can play at the stereotype a little bit more. I don't know. That's a difficult question.
Okay. Do you consider yourself more of a musician or an actor?
Right now, I consider myself more of an actor. I'm kind of on the border right now because I'm still being only 5 years in, just starting to sing about that long ago. I'm still learning music notes, but for me it's more something that I hear and then I can learn to copy and then change it once I'm comfortable enough with it. But acting seemed to come to me a little more naturally. I definitely consider myself more of an actor who has learned to perform and sing in order to keep acting.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm with...
Jeff Lowe.
And you are?
I am the director of I Love You, Perfect, Now Change, and I am also one of the actors in the show.
Oh, who do you play?
I play a lot of characters in the show. I strangely cast myself as a lot of like the father characters, which is a little odd for me. But I play a lot of characters. All of us are playing people in different kinds of relationships throughout the entire show. So sometimes you're playing a kid who doesn't know what he wants for love, and then another time you're playing a hopeless romantic who knows exactly what he wants. So it's really a treat for actors because you get to play a wide range of very interesting characters.
Okay. If one of my viewers goes to the show, what could they expect?
They're going to expect a fantastic time. There's going to be a lot of singing. It's almost primarily singing, but there are a couple of scenes that are also very, very funny. And they're going to be able to see a ton of different kind of characters on stage and be able to say, I know somebody like that, or I'm a lot like that person. And it's very, very fun to see those kinds of personalities and engaging scenes on stage and being able to say, I've said something exactly like that before, or my uncle's like that, or something. And it's just a good time to come out, laugh, and smile, and just forget about your worries for a little bit.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I have been doing theater in Orange County in LA for quite a while now. I went to Cal State Fullerton for theater, and then I've just been working nonstop. I've worked at a lot of theaters in Orange County, a couple in the Empire, and I've been directing and acting for a long time. I've had a lot of odd jobs, and this will be my first time ever directing and acting in the same show, though. So this is a first for me. Still having firsts.
Mm-hmm. So how'd you get into directing anyway?
I got into directing because I went to Cal State Fullerton, and I started out at Cal State Fullerton for musical theater, and they have a fantastic musical theater program. And I just wasn't quite ready for it when I went there, and so they have a jury program, and I didn't quite make the jury program, and so I didn't get into it. And so I had a choice. I needed to choose a new major, so I chose directing, and it really was the best thing for me because I learned actually a lot about acting from directing, and I learned a lot about directing from acting. So it's really a beautiful mixture of both the worlds. So I'm actually very appreciative of that.
You make it sound like all you have to do is just major this in college and they give it to you. I mean, it must have been a lot harder than that.
It's a lot of training. It's a lot of trial and error. My directing teacher in college can definitely attest to that. There's a lot of missteps along the way, and a lot of it is just having a passion and idea and stick to it and trying to deal well under pressure. It also helps a lot to have a fantastic cast and a crew to back you up so that when I'm losing my mind, they're there to help me. They always tell you in college, casting is 90% of everything, and we did just that for this show. The cast is really, really wonderful.
What did you look for when you did the casting?
The show requires people to have fantastic personality, somebody that you want to talk to after the show, go grab a beer with or something like that. So they have to be engaging people just by themselves. So we call them personality actors. They're just great people you want to be around. And then the secret ingredient that you need to find in that is to find these wonderful, charming people that you can talk to all day, and then have them also be actors who can put on these personalities so that they're not the same person the entire show. So they need to be older, younger, shyer, more extroverted. So it's finding these charming people who can then also take on and put off a character, and that takes a lot of talent and timing and training.
Do you look for any kind of musical acumen?
Almost all these people in this cast are musically talented, and it's a must-have in the show. There are surprisingly a lot more musical hardships in the show, a lot of harmonies and a lot of key changes, more than people would expect from some other shows. And usually the show is done with 4 people. There's 6 of us, so we added a couple of harmonies here and there too. So they have to be people who are very good at listening, picking up a tune, and also doing their homework as well, because a lot of the songs are solos and duets.
If you would compare this musical with, say, another well-known Broadway musical that, say, maybe some of the viewers would be more familiar with, which one would you compare it with?
If I was going to compare this with a well-known musical, oh, that is a tough one.
Or possibly a well-known movie or a TV series?
Well-known movie. I mean, it's a lot like a lot of romantic comedies. There's actually going to be a movie coming out the last 5 years that's very similar to this, that because it examines relationships. And that show contains just one relationship, and I've done that show before. And they're making a movie out of it now, so it should be picking up a lot of buzz coming up soon. But that's the show that I would compare it with. It's a very popular show, I hope. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it after you come see I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change.
Okay, so how do you think this will turn out?
I think it's going to turn out fantastically. We have a lot of folks showing up. The cast has worked really, really hard the entire show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really, they've been ready for a long time, and we just need an audience in here for them to act off of. You know, anytime you're doing a comedy, you can run that comedy over and over and over again and say, this is fantastic, this is hilarious, but you really don't get that joy and that fun and that energy until there are people in the building laughing along with you.
Well, anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you very much for all this. It's going to be a fantastic show. I really hope everybody comes out to see it. Get your tickets now, though, because we are selling out really, really quickly. It's going to be a wonderful show. And if you need a night off, Valentine's Day is coming up. It's a great show for that. And it's good for any time of the year. It's really a wonderful show.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm with
Justin Bowler.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I went to high school in Camarillo, California, ACHS. Go Scorps. That's right, baby. And then I took theater up at UCSB in Santa Barbara. Yeah, so theater major up there, communication major, and I've been doing it ever since. Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your character?
I play a number of different characters because this whole show is supposed to show scenarios from real life. So a lot of the characters you see are every man or every woman. As it turns out, most of my characters are kind of pompous and arrogant, but I think that's just typecasting from Jeff, who just said, I need somebody pompous and, arrogant, so they threw me in. Yeah, it's true. I think highly of myself. What else you got?
So are you a lot like your character?
Absolutely. I think we're all a little pompous and arrogant somewhere on the inside. I just like to take it out on stage. Although my wife would probably say, oh, no, he's very pompous and arrogant. She's also in the show. She's the cute little blonde that's over there. And what's something kind of fun? We actually got married on TV. That was fun. The E! Channel paid for our marriage and then sent us off to Hawaii for a honeymoon. That was kind of fun. But I think I play a total of something like 10 different characters in the show. Some of them are happy. Some of them are sad. Even the sadness, though, comes from a joyous place, like looking back on a happy life and just being sad that it's over.
Do you think it's necessary to have a big ego to be an actor? Because, a lot of people say actors just have this huge ego and you just have to have that. Do you think that's true?
I think there's a certain confidence that all actors have to have in order to do what they do. And I think that can absolutely be misinterpreted as someone having a large ego. That is not to say that there aren't people out there who do have enormous egos that are giant divas or whatever. I truly don't think I'm that much of an ass. Who knows? I might be. But no, I have a great sense of confidence. So sometimes people think I have a big ego. I will say that. But I don't think in general, I wouldn't say absolutely all actors have giant egos, no.
How do you think you're going to do in the show?
I think I am the worst person out of the 6 people on stage because we have some phenomenal people that are in this show. So if you come to the show, and obviously it's radio, so you can't see what I look like. If you come to the show and somebody in the show sucks, it's me right now. I can tell you that. You'll also know, that guy seems so arrogant. Why is he so arrogant when he's not very good?
So, anything you'd like to add?
I think the most talented lady in the cast is the blonde that's in here, but I'm a little biased when I say that because I also think she's the most beautiful, and she happens to be my wife. That's why I'm arrogant, because I scored that.
Do you also think of yourself more of a musician or more of an actor?
Definitely more of an actor, because once again, if you come to the show and you listen to people sing, I will be the only person out of the 6 that is off key. But
My cast members laugh at that because it's true. But I've had musical training. I also play piano, but I certainly don't call myself a musician. No.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I'm the token black.
This is Ashton Marcus, and you are?
I am Dana Baker Bowler.
Okay. And you play?
I play a woman in the show, and I play multiple characters throughout the show.
Can you give me a little synopsis of some of those characters?
Sure. I play the mom who just has a newborn baby, and her life now revolves around her newborn baby. I play the inner geek who's on a blind date, and the struggles that she has to go through to try to be the stud and babe versus the dorky girl. And then I also play a woman who's just gone through a divorce and what she's dealing with at that point.
Could I have a brief bio?
Sounds good. I've been performing since I was 5 years old. I actually did a show on this stage when I was 5 years old, so it's been a while. I've done about 60 different stage productions over the last 30 years or so. I've performed on Disney Cruise Line. I was last seen as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde at Covina Center for the Performing Arts. And I love musical theater.
It sounds like you have a very broad background there.
Yes, absolutely. I do a lot of stage work. I've done some television and film as well, but stage is where I'm the happiest.
Okay, so can you give us some advice for some of the younger actors who are listening?
I would say do it because you love it, and do it because you're passionate about it. If you ever stop loving it, then choose something else to do, because it's a lot of hard work, but if you're passionate about it, then it's very fulfilling.
Great. And why did you get into it when you were so young? You said you got into it when you were 5. Do you just know, I'm 5, I just want to get into this?
My grandmother was a professional dancer. She used to dance with Shirley Temple in her movies. So when I was, 2, 3 years old, my grandma started enrolling me in dance lessons and beauty pageants, and that sort of lended itself to acting and modeling and performing. And always at a young age, I preferred doing stage versus doing television. It's just more exciting to have a live audience. So I was definitely one of those kids who said, Mom, I want to go do this. I want to go perform. And my mom was supportive enough, and she drove me around and was my chauffeur for 15 years of my life.
So when you were growing up, do you feel different from everyone else?
Performing, not so much, because, I still went to high school, even though during my last 3 years of high school, I would leave early to go do shows, or I would take off days to do commercials or things like that. I still led a fairly normal childhood, and I feel like no one's normal anymore. Everybody has something that makes them different, so mine just happened to be performing.
So looking back at your long, life, do you look back and regret anything? Maybe I should have done this, maybe I should not have done this?
I don't actually, because I'm the type of person who every time there's an opportunity that I think is going to be fulfilling, I go after it. I've certainly had disappointments because I've gone after opportunities that I've not been able to fulfill, a dream or something. But I don't really have, any major regrets, anything like that.
Oh, well, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus. And
Hi, I'm Michelle. It's nice to meet you.
And you play?
I play one of the women in the show. There's 3 of us. We are no names because we actually play about 10 different characters each, at least, during each different scene. So it's fun.
So who's your favorite character?
Oh, gosh, let's see. I really like, she doesn't have a name, but there's a movie theater scene called Tear Jerk, where a young couple goes to the movie theater, and the girl always has the chick flick she wants to see, and the guy has the action film. Well, we go to a chick flick, and so it's just a funny song about a guy who does start to break down once he starts to get into the movie with his girlfriend.
Could I also have a brief bio of you?
A brief bio. Oh, well, I've been doing theater for about, do I have to say this? This ages me. About 24 years. In high school, I started as a dancer, then I became an actor, and kind of been doing it ever since.
Well, this is radio, no one can see, but you're actually very young looking.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's why I was still cast. I've actually done this show a couple times before, so it's just a fun one that, anytime I see it around, I'm right there at auditions. It's a good show. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So do you have any advice for any of the younger actors who actually want to start doing this?
Have fun with it, 'cause if you're not having fun with it, it's not worth it.
Do you consider yourself an actor or a musician?
I definitely don't consider myself a musician. I consider myself an actor who sings.
That's interesting. So do you think musical theater is actually what you want to do, or would you rather get into more dramatic acting?
Oh, gosh, well, at my age, it's kind of, you have to have your day job to support your evening job when you're doing theater. So, yes, I would love to just do, whether it's musical theater or straight theater full-time. The money tends to be in musical theater, so, every now and again I'm fortunate to get a professional job around town. But as long as I'm doing a show that I enjoy, I don't really care. I like to do both. I really like to dig my teeth into a play. A comedy, a drama, doesn't matter. Switch it up, do a musical.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm Ashton Marcus, and you are?
Tiffany,
And you play?
one of the many characters in I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. One of the ladies. Multiple characters. I tend to be the wife throughout the run. My track in the show is paired up with Justin, so we tend to get married, and we're the married couple throughout the course of the second act. Yeah.
Okay. Any particular character that you just love that you identify with?
Probably, I get the ballad in the show, and for the women, and it's called I Will Be Loved Tonight, and just the honesty of everything that you go through trying to find someone, and when you find someone, and then when you're not with someone, and just the ups and downs of that is very touching to me. It's an honest, really honest song, so, yeah.
Could I also have a brief bio of you?
Sure. I have been singing since I was 5 years old. I started singing in church when I was a little girl, and then I became a gymnast and was a competitive gymnast throughout my young teen years. And then I fell into theater again later in high school and have been doing it off and on ever since. But then back in '09, I just got bit with the bug and have basically been doing anywhere from 4 to 7 shows a year since then. So I own a theater company in the area called Alchemy Theater Company. We're a brand new gypsy company. We don't have a home base, so we use other theaters. In fact, Westminster has allowed us to use their stage. We did a show here last season. And, I've performed at Carnegie Hall. I do hosting work for Honda. And, yeah.
So when you were growing up, did you kind of feel, most people that age would have been sitting in front of TV watching Scooby-Doo. Did you feel different?
No, my mom played the piano in church. And so it was just one of those things that every Sunday we went to church. And so I started singing, and that was someplace that you could was very open to do that. And so as soon as I got into elementary school and choir was available, I just kept doing that and learned how to play the flute. And so I played the flute for many years. And no, it just fit for me. And I was still athletic. I still liked sports, but that was the other part that I liked to do, to be able to sing and act.
Do you know that a lot of high schools are cutting their theater program now, and they would not be able to do the same thing you can do? What do you think about that?
I actually, I'm an alumni of Young Americans, so I did the music outreach tours right out of high school, and so I'm really aware of that. In fact, when we were on tour, we were slated to end up at a school, and we went there, and when we got there, we were told that we did no longer have a place to stay, that our show was cut because the board, the day before we got there, cut the music program. So the doctor of the town actually came in and put our entire cast up in a hotel and paid for the rental of the school to allow us to continue to do the show. After we did our show and spent 3 days with the kids, we made such an impact that they had an emergency board meeting and voted the school program back in that night after our show. So it actually is something that's really passionate for me because I saw it happen firsthand. So it's actually, I think when the parents were able to see the life that their children had on stage with people that were so giving and so loving and so embracing of that art, how can you not see the importance in that? So, yep.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else to add?
just, come see the show and support the arts. It's always nice to see new faces, and there are tons of stories being told in this show. That's the beauty of this show. It's songs and vignettes. So you've got every scene is a different part of a relationship, and every song is a different part of a relationship. So from start to finish, there's joy and there's sadness and there's laughter, and it's a good time. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change will be playing at the Westminster Community Theater from February the 6th to the 21st. For more information, go to www.wctstages.org or search for